Hey, how about you stop making it so hard? Hey guys, Randy Gage here. Welcome to another episode of Prosperity TV. I'm coming to you from my place in Miami, running and posting this show quick, and then I'm heading out to the airport. But I did want to talk about something that we've talked about it in the past, but it came up again. I was a guest speaker at the Elevate event in Miami here for Milton Olave last weekend. And there was a VIP luncheon, and so we did a Q&A for the VIP people. And this came up again, and I think it's really worth exploring in a different context. And this is the idea of why you might self-sabotage yourself, why you might make your life so difficult, why you might attract a lot of drama and trauma in your life. And I kind of want to build on the show that we did last Monday, which was, let go of the soap opera. And if you didn't watch that show, make sure you go back and watch that one. But I have a friend who will remain nameless. He is married to a very negative woman who has a lot of crisis in her life, and he's forever rescuing her from bad situations. And he's the hero, the knight in shining armor who's saving her over and over and over again. He has this series of jobs and businesses that I've seen over a period of 10 years that keep having these contrived crises that he has to come in and save the day. And I wonder how many of you watching relate to that, where you're the one who always has to save the day. Because what I'd like you to think about, if you are, is in my friend's case, it isn't because he's a noble Jedi Knight fighting the forces of evil. It's worthiness issues. I believe he has very low self-esteem. He doesn't think he's worthy for many, many of the reasons we've talked about in dozens of these shows, organized religion and the data sphere and all that programming. So he doesn't really think he doesn't really have a positive self-esteem of himself. And so he's trying to find acceptance with himself by creating a more heroic hero's journey. That he literally, it's like the parents who have, Munchausen syndrome, or there's some name where they actually like poison their kids and make them sick just so they can be taking care of them and saving them and being like a hero to the world. Really, really sick, twisted, dysfunctional thing. But I see people do it all the time. And why I can spot it like that is because I did that for years and years and years. And I had such a history of going into business partnerships with helpless, hapless, hopeless people that I could be the hero and save the day all the time. And dysfunctional relationships and just all kind of scenarios like that. And the thing I never was dealing with was that I didn't like myself. And I remember talking about this from the stage at one of my workshops, and a woman came up to me in tears afterward, and she said, I had no idea. She was in direct selling, right? So she'd go to her company's events, and they would have all these inspirational stories. They were sleeping under a bridge, and now they were millionaires, and they were homeless, and now they're millionaires, and they were bankrupt and went to millionaires. And she said, and my husband and I, we came into business with a very successful existing business that we were already very well off. We were affluent. And I realize now I subconsciously bankrupted that business to have a story like all these people I idolize in my company, because they all had these, what do you call it? The rags to riches. They all had these rags to riches stories, and I didn't have one, and subconsciously I manifested one. And it was such a breakthrough for her to understand that. So just do some thinking on that. Is that the case with you? Are you just making it harder on yourself than you have to be just because you don't have the self-esteem that you really need? So if that's the case, if you say, hey, I don't even have to check, I know I don't have high enough self-esteem. First of all, go back and find your original programming. Those questions, and I've done a few shows on them, so go back and watch those shows about questioning your beliefs, your core foundational beliefs on money, success, God, religion, marriage, relationships, health, all the big issue stuff. What were those? And you remember, you got them before you were 8 years old, 9 years old. So do you have programming that money is bad? Do you have programming that a marriage is supposed to be arguing and cheating and abuse? Do you have, what were the models that you learned from as a young kid and then adopted as core foundational beliefs? So look at that original programming. Find the beliefs that aren't congruent with empowering life, with a prosperous life, and blow them up and replace them with empowering ones. Then look at your current programming. What are the shows you're watching, the blogs you're reading, the people you're hanging out with, the news channel you watch? I mean, how much negative programming are you still getting today because you're not being mindful of it? You're not questioning what kind of programming you're getting. So are you getting programming that still makes you feel you're not worthy? Then I think you got to do an inventory with the people in your life and say, okay, those 5, 6 people I'm spending the most time with, are these people who empower me or are these people who beat me down? And you may have to make some changes in the inventory or changes in the access to you. And then I'd say, if you're not doing it, start daily self-development and focus exclusively on building self-esteem for at least 6 months. And watch this show every Monday it comes out, or if you're listening on the podcast, it's every Monday it comes out. And then Wednesday and Friday we have other shows. And that's, so if you're watching on YouTube and you're not a podcast subscriber, get on the Power Prosperity Podcast. And I'm putting up 3 shows a week on that. And a lot of that is really helpful for your self-esteem. And just make a conscious learning agenda on developing a higher self-esteem. And then you're going to find you don't need to manufacture all the drama and crisis and be the superhero and always save the day. Life is hard enough. Stop saving the day and just start living the day with harmony and prosperity. Peace. Hey, please get down below in the comments and let me know what you think. I'm heading out to Kiev and Moscow, so hopefully I'll get you a show from one of those places.